Yeah. I look like, you know, I want to be a rapper, but it will not work out.
You look like an Amish rapper.
You know, Amish rapper.
Yeah.
Hey, Modest Yahoo doesn't fuck around. He's like Eminem.
I love Modest Yahoo.
Modest Yahoo is a beast. When he comes on my Pandora, I turn that shit up.
I am so glad you know who that is. Nobody else gonna know who that is.
I love him.
Oh, very good, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even do my mic line because we're on a different laptop. That's depressing right there, I'll tell you. Right, let's have a look. Let's see if we are actually live. Let us know in the chat, guys, if we are live. I'm assuming we are live. Let's have a look. Is anybody coming through? Oh, we're live, guys. Let us know. Yep, we're live. Boom. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Fix. Show number 116. And Marcus Thompson, before we got on air, smashed in a massive super chat. But on holes again, have a great show, boys. We'll miss it. Big shout out to our crew, the usual suspects. 3 of the crew on here this week. We got the mighty Paul Lynn in the mother fluffing house, ladies and gents, of the original Fix crew. We got Rolly Ray.
That's not my name. Say my motherfucking name.
We got F. Bowen in the mother fluffing house.
That's right.
We've also got standing in for Ryan Bowen tonight, Mr. Rob Vigent Jr., ladies and gentlemen. WAL hammer holder and all around bad mother fluffer. And tonight, guys, we're going to be talking mostly about East versus West. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Arm Wars match. Did everybody see the Arm Wars match this week, guys? Has everybody checked that out? If you have not,
yes.
Ray, what do you think?
That's like, I love my matches, but that match killed. Like in a person, it was even better than it was on tape. But you put on so much emotion, plus all the drama with Uncle John. You know, I think it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it was nice. John got a little bit of redemption, but it was. I really enjoyed that show. I mean, you know, I don't watch a lot of the shows necessarily when they're on the live, but we see them beforehand, and it's a little bit different. Also, you're aware of it because you see it clipped together. But that was really nice. It was good to see. So for those of you in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, 173 of you right now and climbing. We'll let a few people drift in, but it's great to see you all on here. Sorry about the delay. Had a few techie issues.
Tell your friends this is the show to tune in. There's never been a better lineup. This is
the one.
This is the moment.
As big as lose that hat. I'm gonna keep the shades. It's frigging boiling over here, and for a fat lad.
Let's see how long till someone notices like fake taxi in my shades.
Yeah. See how long it takes before they can see that action going down right there. Z's Guitar Account, welcome back, RVJ. You mega chad, you. Mate, it's been a while, hasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, man. I kind of enjoy laying low because then when I pop out, I'm kind of like Punxsutawney Phil. Everyone's kind of happy to see me. When I'm out every day, they just want to. When a groundhog's in your garden every day, they try to kill your ass. But the same groundhog comes out once a year and they have a holiday for you. Holiday for me, guys.
So, Rob, mate, let's get straight into things here. Next week, Rolly Ray's facing Ryan. How good can it possibly be? I mean,
how good could it be? Are you asking for a prediction? How good could it be? What's the question? Where are we going?
Put it this way. Myself and Paul Lynn, I'm gonna say it's probably the same for Paul. It's definitely that way for me. There are some amazing matches on the East versus West card. I mean, the lineup is stacked to the gills. For anybody that doesn't know, East versus West next weekend, Istanbul, Turkey, as usual. Engin's put together an unbelievable card. Incredible matches on there. It's stacked with stars. But by far, the most exciting match on the card is the first one. It's our very own Fix Rolly Ray against Fix Ryan Bowen. And I cannot wait. Are you excited about that, Paul?
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. You gotta love when the leadoff match has probably the most amount of hype. Like I think this match has more hype than Angerbayev and John.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? If you look at the card, you've got so many monsters on there. I mean, it's a solid. I mean, a lot of the matches that aren't getting talked about are the ones that I'm actually most excited about, like Bojidar and David Samushia. But we'll come back to them. First of all, Rob Vision, Rolly Ray, Ryan Bowen. Who have you got?
All right, so if you asked me this a year and change ago, I really might have gone with Ryan Bowen. Maybe like over a year ago. But I think Ray's been very active in his body of work against good top rollers and guys who are well-rounded pullers, guys that I actually have a lot of respect for. And I've seen his ability to deal with that. A lot of people think that because of his physicality, like he's an easy top roll, but he's pulled good top rollers. And the way he's pulled those guys and the camp he's coming from, I put a lot of stock in that.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't think that Ryan's going to have the access to be able to game up and plan the way he's got, you know, how much world talent behind him. And there's something we said about the camp you're coming from and the knowledge you're coming from. And he's shown, you know, really good success against guys who are probably better top rollers than Bowen. And I don't believe that Bowen's going to be able to outwear him, outstrap him, out join him, out elbow him anywhere other than a hard top roll.
Yeah.
So before the last year that passed, I would have probably said Ryan. But the way Ryan's gone and the way Ray has proved himself and where he comes from in a proven camp as good as they are, I'd say it's Ray's to win.
Paul, just want to bring you in here, mate, because obviously you know both these guys very, very well. You know the body of work very, very well. You're very familiar with a lot of the guys that they've pulled with also. Do you sort of see it pretty much where Rob does there? What's your sort of breakdown of the match with Ray and Ryan?
Well, I support Ray, period. End of story. Like, so, like, especially in this one, if not others, but I support Ray. And I do kind of see things in a similar light to what Rob's saying. I think Ray's really turned it up. And he's turned it up because he's traveled, and I've seen him pull like known quantities rather than, you know, that like why, you know, I know he pulls at a world level and a European level all the time, and I know the camp, but like if I haven't had the hands-on experience with some of the people that he's been pulling, I wouldn't have as much of an idea. And I question, it's so hard to gauge Ryan because he's isolated over there, and you know, there's kind of like Lachlan and then everybody else, and nobody's close to him. So we know Lachlan's at a pretty high level. We know he's a strong dude, but we're not seeing anybody fool with him. So to judge Ryan right now is really tough. Plus, I don't know what his activity level is right now. I know his weight's a little lower, and I'm ignorant to this, Ray. Is there a weight cap for this? Are you guys weighing in?
90 kilos.
Okay. So are they going to you're going to actually weigh in?
We're going to weigh in day before. So on Friday, we're going to weigh in.
Okay. That's a big question because I know things get fishy with that stuff sometimes. So 90 kilos, that favors Ray.
Yeah.
To me, that would, like, if I'm looking at it from like, okay, like an analytical standpoint, I think that weight cap favors Ray big time. I know what Ryan feels like at like 210, like a few years ago. But 198 is a little bit different. And I'm not sure when Ryan makes that cut, he keeps the amount of muscle mass. I don't know how he handles those things. Where Ray, you're walking around at that probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably a big Ray. That's probably Ray showing up, eating a cheeseburger, loving life, carved out of his mind.
Yes, exactly. That's
well, what I will say is when I saw Ray over in Dubai, he was significantly more solid than I'd seen him previously. He just looked a much thicker. He looked thick. He looked really solid. Broke my wrist. He looked thick over there.
All things considered, though, I think this match could be an absolute screamer.
I do.
If it stops, if Ryan can't top roll Ray, we're probably going to see like a really, really good opening match.
I can't hope that's the case.
In due respect, I mean, I'll give Ryan the respect that he's not like a flash pin type of guy. If he'll stop the match, that motherfucker will grind. If he feels even with you and he can stop you, he'll be the guy that will grind 3-5 minutes. And I mean, he's got the heart. So as long as he's not totally outclassed, if he can get a foothold in it, he will make it a motherfucker, which is what's dangerous about him. And he's a grinder. He's just like a Froder. He's like a Bill Sinks. He's a grinder. And it's where it's going to be is who knows. But I mean, if he can get his foot in it, he can make it interesting. I'm just thinking on Ray's body of work and like Paul said, known entities and how we add A plus B. But the dude, if he stops it, he can pull, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he really can. How I break this down in a lot of ways. Obviously, you look at the sort of on paper breakdown of these guys. Ryan's the bigger dude. He's a bigger man. He's obviously
bigger than RVJ. We all know he was bigger than RVJ, and he was pretty close to Levin's size. We all also know that. But what you don't want to forget is that he's bigger than RVJ, and the bicep is also bigger.
I don't think he ever claimed that part. I know he was at least 6 inches taller, and his wrist was 2 inches bigger.
And IQ was 155.
Yeah. Ryan
IQ was 175.
155. And what were you at, Rob? What was yours?
If I said my IQ was 210, his would have been 215. But I said 150, and he was right around. He just fluffed out 155. It's just one of those.
It's a great show. That
it's really, it's cool. It's cool, but you can kind of I could see it coming. It's the old sucker punch, right? If somebody winds up and you get caught off guard, it's almost your fault. I knew it was coming.
I absolutely loved it, mate. Don't ever change. That was one of the best shows that's ever been done in the history of shows of any description, never mind arm wrestling shows. But the way I see that is, with him being the bigger guy, obviously we know that in the past Ryan trained differently. I don't know whether he is now or not, but that was a point of difference. However, on the flip side of that, you got Ray, who, like you say, is not only just that he's been beating guys that are known quantities, it's just the body of experience against guys every day.
Yeah,
he's pulling week in, week out with a very, very high skill level over a long period of time.
There's something to be said about that worldwide too.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at camp, any camp that has access to other world level guys daily has a big advantage over guys who got to really travel. That's a separating fact between a lot of the Europeans and us here in the States. You could have talented guys, but me and Paul could do each other a world of benefit if we train together, but he's far away. We're like Cool Runnings of arm wrestling. You guys ever remember Cool Runnings?
Yes. Yeah.
The Jamaica bobsled. We're talent, but limited with resource. We got like podunk, bobsled, kind of podunk coach. We can get there, but it's a bitch. These guys have the best of the best in every weight class in the same room all day, every day. That's a hell of a resource. And that's something that's got to be considered when you're talking about preparing for a match. If Mike Tyson's training with Evander Holyfield, they're going to bring each other up faster than elite boxer training with a bunch of dudes he's slapping around that are low-level Golden Gloves guys. It's just a fact.
And the other thing with that is good for Ray is that he's training with such a disparity in terms of some of the lads that he's pulling against, like the Chef, for example. You've got that guy who's super technical, who you can just jump all over, and whose specialist body of work is polar opposite to your own. Right. Because we know that Sandris is predominantly a top roller. He's got the press, but he's predominantly the top roller.
I keep telling you cannot pull in a hook, but he keeps going in those hook matches. That's why
he can pull in a hook. He's just not world class in the hook for most guys.
That's why we love him.
Yeah, but you are talking about a guy who also he's got access to, who is world class at that weight. That's a much bigger weight than both those guys are at. Mm-hmm. So when you get comfortable and used to that, everything else is kind of like lower boss level. It's like it becomes easier. It becomes less surprising.
Plus, if you go slightly lower than that on a different field, you've got obviously the Jedi. I mean, Giannis is as smart as it gets, as technical as it gets. And if that's not bad enough, you've got Vlad, who is a friggin' horror story of a guy.
And then you got, what's his name? What's the older guy's name? Raymond's?
Yeah, Antonovics.
His top roll's still elite. His top roll's elite.
Mate, Ramons Antonovic is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best arm wrestlers ever out of Latvia. That dude is underrated, big time.
Let's not forget, he's got first-hand experience and wins on the guy he's pulling.
So it's, I mean, Ray, let's bring you in here for a moment, mate.
I can talk about, like, these guys. So my preparation, I kind of divided everything. So at start, it was a lot of top rollers. So I pulled with Giannis, with Raimonds a lot of times. Then I went with best hook pullers, inside pullers, like Kristaps, his father, and there's some other guys. Just worked on my inside game. And then I top it off again with the top rollers versus Raimonds. And the improvement when I started, like the week 1, 2 to the week number 5 and 6 was, completely different. This is why I think, like, even Giannis, like, well, that guy on the day that we announced, like, there's no chance you could beat, or I don't think you could beat. He's like, this is different. So like you said.
So Giannis has you picked now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I haven't lost a practice pull in 4 weeks with anyone. So.
Wow.
Holy shit! You're ready to take Hermes Gasparini's.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But I feel really, really good. I like, the only thing is, when you take hands with someone and they're just that much stronger, then there's nothing you can do. And the other thing in back of my head is that scratch, like, deep water. Let's go into deep water, because I'm kind of good there. I know Ryan is good too, but that's where I want the match to end up. Like, he wants.
Well, what's great is he says he's going to go there.
Yeah.
Yes, but he wants to pin me. He just wants to pin me because he wants to make some kind of, statement. I really want to arm wrestle him. If I will not get the chance to arm wrestle him, I will be disappointed. But
what's your thoughts on if he throws the King's move? Have you played with that?
Yeah, we have King's movers here as well. Some guys that are really, really tough to deal with. I don't, like he says, the agreement is we meet first round, we go straight into the hook. And I was like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
He says he's going full owl, Rob.
I think it's going to happen exactly like
play on arm wrestling.
I think it's going to happen exactly like everyone else who has tried to go and hook with me. It goes like,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is this going to be one where we start in there, where there's no working our way out, or we're gonna say we're gonna go in and one guy kind of low hands?
Yeah, well, he can do that, but it doesn't change anything in my game plan. He's afraid of the press, so I'm bringing the press. But I feel really confident in this match. I feel like every training session, everything that I have been done till this point, even till this day and next few days, I feel really good about myself. And like you said, a year ago, if you would pick me versus Ryan, I would pick Ryan. There's no, like, even like, I think Ryan would beat me because I wouldn't think I was that good. Now I'm way better than I was even like with Artem. I'm steady at home, training pretty much every day.
That was a good win. I think that was a good win for you. That showed
Artem's strong. I think Artem has really improved. Like
Artem is strong.
And like week later, I played top 3 in Europeans. I was wrecked. I was terrible. I didn't train. I was, jet lagged and everything else. And so everything in this year was kind of weird. And this is the only match where I got the chance to really prepare. And I see the improvement. Then it was like, how do you get improved so fast if you're not on PEDs? Consistency. I'm consistent, try traveling as much as I did and see how you do on every tournament. And I pulled like 6 tournaments this year, and this will be my 7th or 8th super match.
Yeah, you've been active, mate.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
Well, the difference is with me and most guys, I don't need 3 months to prepare for a match.
You're. So we got a super chat in from Henry Bowslaw, mate. How are you doing? Thanks for your super chat. Slap my red rocket. It's that Rob. Missed you, boy. So you got a fan there, mate. Henry Bowslaw. Big fan of Robbie Vigent. We've also got Joe Mama in the chat with the super chat. He's put Neil #1. RBJ is my main man. Paul at Arm Wars. So yeah, it's got to happen, hasn't it? Must happen. And good luck, Ray. So he's got a man in your corner there, Joe Mama, with the super chat. We've also got Michael Todd version 24.0 with the super chat. He's put, I'm the strongest I've ever been. I haven't been training like I used to. No excuses, but version 24 is my best version. Nice. Absolute. Rob like that one.
I like that.
Absolutely. So, Ray, when you're pulling against these guys like Antonovics and even Sandris, although Sandris is a stretch, obviously, because the man is a frigging giant, but how much trouble are you giving them in terms of, are they really knowing you're there now? Are you giving them anything?
Like the last times I pulled with Raimons, it's terrible to say, but I dominated. I was better. He was trying different tricks and pulling different stuff to make me work to get out of my positions and things like that. So I felt really good. On tape, on the starts, it's still Raimons is like so terrible, but I've been dealing really good with him, and even with Giannis. Giannis will tell it too. So with Sanders, I didn't have that much chance of pulling. I pulled him like one time or two times in this time because he lives so far away from us, and we couldn't schedule a training session far away that is good for all of us. So with Raimons, I worked. We did a lot of training sessions with Raimons, at least 3 big pulling sessions, and one pulling session. It was just before Giannis went on his trip to Europe. It was just me, Raimons, Giannis, and they just went at me, and I still Raimons, he will tell how it is. He's like, okay. He's like, okay, because he always calls me soft hands. He's like, you're getting harder. So that's where, and I know those guys, like they will not sugarcoat. They will not make me feel good. They are there to F me up. So they will stay away from injuring me, but they will do everything in their powers to make it a worst match possible for me. And so I feel really good about it.
Well, what I'm trying to get to there really is just to try and understand how much of a measure stronger Ryan would have to be, because unless he's like way stronger, and I mean to have a battle, you know what I mean? Because the ideal scenario for me is he comes out, goes full owl on your ass, round number 1, just commits like a bastard, hits the hook, you stop it half an inch off the pad, and we're into one of those screamers. That would be the balls. What a way to start East versus West that'd be. If it's the match of the night straight out of the gates. You can't, I mean, we always try at Arm Wars to put an absolute barn burner on if you can, but straight away, because it just sets the tone, it sets the mood. Everybody's like, let's go. It just sets it up lovely. So I would love that. I'm sick. I'm actually going to be commentating. I'm presenting the Giants live gig at the same time that they're on. I'm a bit sick that I won't get to watch it live because I just feel like it's going to be very, very widely viewed. If you've not got your pay-per-view, guys, get it nailed. East versus West. It's next weekend, next Saturday. It's going to be absolutely banging.
Okay, guys.
Ryan Bowen.
This. I was troll. That was enough trolling. My head is gone. I'm in different planet now from this. I don't smoke, so this was, oh my God.
Taking you to a place you didn't want to be.
Hey, the things you have to do to promote the matches,
So Silky Wilkie's just coming. I've entered the cool stream. Let me put my shades on, chilling like a mother fluffer. That's how we roll, son. That is how we roll. And it's hot as hell over here as well. Great to see so many of you in the chat, guys. 348 people watching the show at the moment. Fantastic to have you all in. Thanks for checking out the fix. We're gonna walk through the East versus West card a little bit because there's some other great matches on here. And I want to get people's feedback on these as well. So, Paul, Derek Smith got a tough test here. He's going to be pulling Rivas. Obviously, we've just seen Rivas with a very, very impressive win against MMT. How do you see that?
I think, if we look back on Derek's last outing, he kind of got fed to the wolves with Morozov, and only I think it was 2 or 3 weeks notice. So preparation wasn't really there. He wasn't making any excuses, but I did talk to him. I was like, how's your prep? Where are you at? He said, I feel good, but I would have liked, like anybody would have liked to have a little bit more preparation. He had his lead time now. So I think we're going to see a better version of Derek. And what Ray, let me know, is Derek commentating this time or not?
I don't know. I have no idea what
I can tell you this. He was not in the right mind state. He had too much going on. Yeah. And he was the leadoff match. He knew he had to go to work right after. Yeah. He kind of vocalized to me concerns about like, having to go do that right after the match, pending outlets and stuff.
Oh my God,
And
imagine Ryan's crying there while we talk. I'm like, well, this is a great match. And you hear.
Yeah. So
how are you going to commentate after that match, Ray? I mean, that's the worst idea in the world to have you Ray commentate.
I think they want me on the stage so I can talk with Russians, so I can translate there. I'm bringing the shirt. I'm taking it out of retirement for this special occasion. The shirt.
You should have flown Paul linen. Lend it. You should have stretched the shit out of the bloody elf shirt. Get it on Paul. Paul should have sat there. He knows you too well. You don't even have to frigging arm wrestle. Just get Paul over there just so he can talk shit on you both while you're up there pulling. And then whoever comes through, amazing. It goes from there. I mean, the fact that Derek's been on there before. Derek, we know, doesn't want it. He's going to pull. He's actually pulling the next match against Rivas. I think this is the actual order that we're reading these off, guys. Yeah. This is taken from Engin's site, and Derek is match number 2.
I think Don Underwood is there as well, and so I think Don can, I have no problem commentating afterwards. Whatever it is. You have to deal. You have to, be a fucking man. So
you'll take some unbelievable pasty from Ryan.
But Ryan's just going to be there sobbing, and I'm just going to poke him.
Yeah, I think back to the match. I think that Rivas is really, really good. And I know he had a long layoff, and I think he's really, really good. I'm going to be rooting hard for Derek, and I hope he comes in his best form ever. I think if he does, he can make it a match, but I think we kind of have to have Rivas as the favorite.
How big a favorite have you got him, Paul?
2-1.
Oof. Rob, you got that the same? Do you see any lanes here for Derek?
I think that the way Derek pulls, he's very proficient in how he pulls. But I think once that's shut down, he's going to be kind of in a weird place. And I think that, is that what it is? It's Rivas. Is that how you say it? I think that from what I've seen, I think he'll have the ability to throw him a curveball. And what Derek does from there, I don't know. He's got that massive flop and press like Jerry, right?
Yeah, all the Tidza can press, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, that's probably harder for most guys to deal with than even the Kings move. Like they don't know how to transition. They feel like they get the hand and they've got ground, but really taking the hand is giving the flopper ground. You're letting them lay on your brachialis with your shoulder and your chest and your tricep and your angles. And I think that a long guy like Derek, we will then see when everyone says, oh, long is good for arm wrestling. You'll see how good long is when somebody's laying on your arm with their shoulder. I'm with Paul that it's like a 2-1 favorite. And if he could change the lane and he can get his shoulder in there and, lay back or turn him in a hook, like press meets press, structure meets structure or some shit. But I don't think we're going to see that this round. Maybe down the road. That'll be ass kicking that'll make him rethink.
Ray, how do you see it?
I wouldn't pick him. If I was Derek's manager, I would say no, dude. Like, no, clearly not. So Derek has pulled in buff. Revas has pulled in buff. Like Revas has done so much better. He has been at one point the strongest guy in Georgia. Those three guys in Georgia right now are holding the fort. I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand why. I wouldn't give him that match. Like, I want Derek to win. I want to actually figure out where he is. Like, Derek pulled versus Morozo. He lost to Morozo. Now he's pulling guy that beat Michael Todd. For me, it's kind of ridiculous.
I want him to pull bloody Sanders in Armwood.
I would love him to pull a super heavyweight, but with Sanders, that would make sense. I think they're way closer than he and Revas is. And Revas is a killer. Like we saw press, because I think like, even though he came out of big retirement, not retirement, but he lay off. And then, how much can you prepare for Mike? And Mike takes your hand, which is weird because Revas usually has it. And then he ends up in a press. I don't think same scenario can happen with Derek. Can Derek really take his hand? I think Derek wants to get in, and while he tries to get in, Revas will jump all over him. So
Did you see
feel
with
like
the speed advantage, Ray?
I would love if Derek wins. If Derek wins, you know, and all of us are wrong, this is great. He's a young guy, not young. He's like really old. We just think he's young, and but we all want to see him succeed. I think he's one of those guys from North America that could do really, really well. But he needs those battles. He needs those tournaments, and I think this is a really, really tough match. Like really, like how strong you need to beat Michael Todd. We all know there's like, you know, you need only two hands to count the people that get beaten King's Michael Todd. So tough call.
Yeah.
Cobra
Ladies and
Rhodes.
gents, we got Cobra Rhodes just joining
Hey,
us here on
brother.
the fix. Rhodes, how you doing,
How
brother?
you doing? Little brother Neil. Good to see you, man.
You
Hey,
too,
Paul,
mate.
what's up? Iron Man.
What's up?
That's
What's
a
up,
shadow
Cub?
right there. Eclipse. Eclipse Incorporated. Hey, man. I don't bring my girl in the same room that dude's in. I don't bring my girl in the same state that dude's in.
We don't bring our girls on stream.
So, Cobra,
Now
we're
you
just
know.
walking through East versus West, mate. Obviously,
What a
coming up
card,
next
huh?
Saturday. Ridiculous card. And we're moving on to match number 3. We just did Derek Smith versus Rivas. We got Corey
Yeah.
Miller. And I mean, we've just been saying that Derek had a tough one. Holy shit. Prokopchuk's a different league of difficult. I mean, Daniel is a.
Yeah, Daniel Solid Moldovan. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna lead off by saying I rate Corey Miller highly. I think he's a great arm wrestler. At times in his career, he's been fabulous. He's blisteringly quick. But my God, this is tough. I mean, Cobra,
Yeah,
start with you, mate. Any way for Corey here?
I've locked up with Daniel several times with the shows that I produced in Moldova, and the only time I ever closed hands with Corey Miller was an off the couch Arnold Classic that I won. And Bob Brown can tell you the history of that tournament better than I. But I won it undefeated, and Corey got that what they give the next guy. But Daniel, I want to see his hand do more than his arm these days. Corey has the ability to change the hand game with Daniel, where I see Daniel just so hard-headed to impose his will, not with a Catteray type vinegar, but pretty damn close, of sacrificing all for victory. And if Corey ends up in Daniel's slot, it's going to be super exciting because Corey can hook as well, I'm told. But if Corey can win the hand game, it could really expose the one hole that I see in Daniel. That's my take on it.
So you think the speed is the key for Corey? He's got to finish quick.
He needs control before go.
Mm.
Because we know Daniel's coming in there on his bicep balled up, right?
But you know what the scary thing for me in this match is, and by all means, if anybody disagrees, let me know. But how I see this is Daniel's so proficient at selling you a loop. He'll just he'll go flat wrist on you. You may feel like you're getting somewhere, but he will bleed you till you can't fucking stand. He'll just flat wrist, hang under there. You'll bust yourself to bits thinking that you're in there, and you're not in there. The man's joint strength, the man's inherent structural strength is otherworldly.
He can do it all day. Have you ever seen him injured, really?
Actually, no.
Since I met him, I've only seen him grow.
I know that when you're able to control top rollers of the ilk of Terasatis, you're one bad dude. You know, Daniel for me is elite right now. I mean, he is savagely strong. Paul, how have you got this one?
Man, I think that Corey has the ability to surprise some people. Like we're talking about speed. We're talking about maybe finding the hole Cobra's talking about. I think that he can surprise some people. I think he can win the first match. I don't see him as the favorite. Again, it's a similar match. It seems a little bit lopsided to me, but I think Corey has the tools to surprise some people. I would, if I had to bet money, I'd be betting on Daniel. I'll root for Corey for sure, and I think he can make it interesting. But he's something different.
If I may interject, and I apologize to everyone for appearing late. Hey, Coach Ray, what's happening?
What's up, Cobra Roads?
Hey, slow motion for the big dick gangster. Listen, Paul, I respect what you're saying, but I don't think it will be a big surprise if Corey sweeps the thing. You know what I mean?
It surprised my ass.
Yeah.
He's super talented.
Right.
Mate, if Corey sweeps Daniel Procopio, I will be
That will be
incredibly surprised. Like I will be like,
I'm trying to give respect to both fighters because they're both super kids. But I just know what Daniel's working with is from a hunger and desire to. I've only watched him grow in the last 4 years. Let me say that. Like I said, I pulled Corey once, and it was at the Arnold Classic, and I mean, he was strong and stuff, but never. I mean, I never was scared. You know
how I see Daniel. On occasion, okay, and I'll give a few examples. So you got the guys, right, who go over to North America in the lighter weight categories, and everybody will be like, holy, they've just dropped an alien in amongst us.
Right.
And not just North America. I don't care where you throw that kid. Put him anywhere. Pick him up, drop him anywhere on the board. Anywhere you want. And he is an unbelievably proficient puller. He will crush dudes way above his pay grade. I mean, unbelievable.
All right, can I jump in on that?
Yeah.
I want to jump in on that because while I agree that in the past years, people that I've watched, Daniel is a guy that I've been highly impressed with. On the same token, people like John Brzezinski and Todd Hutchings will talk about the oddball weirdo connection Corey has at that start, that when he moves, it all moves and it's all hyper proficient. And I look at how he pulled a guy like Tiete, whose arm was probably just as strong or stronger than Daniel's, and he ran his ass over. Now, he might not have had success with someone like Cobra at that time, but that's totally, you couldn't be more opposite ends of the spectrum between Daniel and Cobra. So that's like a different fight. But the way
what up, RVJ?
Commit sideways and turn someone palm up and run with it, I think a guy like Daniel is built for a guy like Corey. A guy like Luke Kent and Cobra that give guys like Corey nightmares because they're their styles. But if you're trying to be that get in there containment puller, his ability to commit and be so connected and it all moves hyper proficiently, I think he's just as proficient in his Daniel in the movement. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go 3-0, not even for a minute.
Wow. Yeah,
now I wouldn't be surprised to see it the other way, but if it goes the other way, Daniel's going to work a lot harder than Corey will if it doesn't.
Right.
I'm not sure. I think Daniel can run him over.
RVJ, what's happening?
What's up, bro?
I didn't even know New England was in the house. Good.
All you got to do is
I love
break out the reading glasses, bro. I'm right there in the corner. RVJ.
Dude, I'm like Mad Max, the Family Man, bro. I'm running my little man to a party right now.
I got you. I know.
I'm coming from the gym, bro. 9 days I've been training. 9 days, and I'm so happy.
That's like a record.
Bro, I haven't in 20 years. I haven't really given. I just tried hard when they said go. You know what I mean? But right now, with the injury freeness of me and my mind's in the put on your seatbelt, baby. Right here.
Are you actually driving right now?
No, we're just leaving the house. Right there, baby. Right here, baby. It's under your legs.
That's hilarious.
Cohen, look, you have it connected, you silly bird. Yes, you can, you silly boy.
Just while Cobra's getting sorted there, Ray, how have you got this, mate?
So most likely, Corey gonna hit it, get the center, get very close to the pin pad, and then Daniel will stop it. Doesn't matter how long it is, it's very hard to beat Daniel.
I'll catch
Especially,
up with y'all. Love you.
especially where, bye Cobra, especially
Bye,
where
Cobra.
Corey hits. So Corey hits through his
I know.
pronator, which he's not trying to open the hand, he's trying to hit through the hand. So all he needs to do is stay with his wrist flat. And we have seen him, like I have seen this in person so many times. He just catches guys that are really fast, really strong, and stones wall him. If he gets one, that's okay. But I don't like Daniel always makes it about endurance. And endurance matches, we know Corey is not that good. So I pick Corey. Corey might surprise us with one. I don't think he has
Early.
enough energy to get three. Like really.
Oh.
No, because Daniel will find a way to bleed him. And we know Corey will bleed eventually. You know, like guys like Tarasitis that has great hand control, has back pressure, is not that fast, but still can get to that position because of the leverages and everything, still can't finish that guy.
Yeah, but that kind of top roll is different than that palm up top roll. That back is different than shooting somebody like over, like pushing their, palm
Yeah.
over, like pulling somebody away and then pushing a palm over it's a different type of angle and top roll. It's a different
I
type of
understand.
attack.
I agree there. I agree.
I'm
there.
Yeah,
not
I would
saying
agree, and I would agree.
anything.
There's a difference. There's a difference in the speed of the attack.
Also,
By the
yeah,
same
because
token, I think there's also a very, very significant difference in the level of top end.
yeah, they're gonna. It's so if the pin happens, it's gonna happen outside the straps. Because if they put on a strap, Daniel can catch you. It doesn't matter where he catches you; he will catch you. He's so weirdly built and so weirdly strong that he gets that position every damn time. It's kind of weird, and it looks like you feel like, okay, I got this, and that's where exactly he wants it. So if I don't know, like if Corey has really worked on not starting but the finishing, because start is already great. If he has worked on finishing power, that's where his chances are coming in. You know,
Mhm. So another tough day at the office there for Team West. Now then we go on to a really, really divisive match.
As you guys are, proudly Team West. Would you trade me for Ryan? Because he's now Team West.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
where'd that come from? That's all the way. He's more east than you are.
I've got you as Team West all day, and I've actually got this as a West versus West. I mean, for me, it is the ultimate wanker match. This is whoever loses this becomes ultimate wanker and wears the shirt. And that's how this goes down.
West side is the best. East side is the-
So we go on to the next match, and it's Chance Shaw versus Zurab. Now, this is sort of a lot of people have come out banging with this one and said that they don't give Chance a hope in hell. Are you guys on the same side of the fence there?
I'll start because I think like before his match versus Ron, I was thinking like Chance will surprise you. He's bigger, he's way more proficient. He gets to that position very, very good. The problem is Zurab doesn't care and can just pull you back. So I was kind of like picking Chance as little favorite in that match because he will get to that position and he will take that hand and he did it to Todd Hutchings. He can do it to most people. So will he have power for 3 rounds to keep doing that? Because Zurab has great endurance. We know that. So that's the one for me. Right now, I'm dead set in the middle for this match, like really in the middle.
Well, you think stylistically, in some respects, that a guy like Zurab is tailor-made for Chance's sweet spot. Tailor-made.
Yes.
It's like if you designed a dude, who's he going to do well with? It's that fella. You'd think, yeah, he's going to go well there. 100% of people are saying, well, John couldn't top roll him. I'm not convinced. I think John was having fun. That's my honest opinion. I think John was having fun. I think
that's what John Brzezinski fans say. I don't think that he fucks around. I think people who see John get stonewalled say he was fucking around. But the reality is, if you're inside John's mind, he's going, "What the fuck is happening right about now?" He's having fun when he wins. He's not having fun playing with people. He's not I don't believe that for a second. I don't think he was having fun.
I do. I think he was. I mean, we're on a slightly different angle there, but I think John was making that entertaining. I think John could have finished that at will. I really do.
Neil Pickup versus RVJ for WL Super Lightweight Heavyweight Championship 2023. Tune in.
Super lightweight
Mate,
heavyweight.
I can't make no light heavyweight class. What the are you talking about?
Super light heavyweight class.
Not now. I need
Super
to
light
be on a treadmill for about the next 9 months.
You're up for the hammer match with that, Ray. When you beat Ryan, he's the best light heavyweight in the world.
I know. I was like, this is happening.
There you go.
What's your score prediction, Rob?
You know, it's really tough because everybody wants to give Chance a little hate, and anyone who's been on the internet long enough knows that you all come against your share of hate and doubters and non-believers. And, you know, sometimes if you have an internet persona, you're going to get people who like it, people who hate on it. And I think Chance has had his share of hate, but you can't deny that I think he showed marked improvement with every outing. And he shows himself getting a little stronger, a little better. And one thing I can't look past is how unbelievably proficient he seems in the straps. Like, his strap game is Jason Valish scary. He almost always gets what he needs in the straps. And he seems very comfortable no matter where it falls in the straps. Now, if he just gets overwhelmed or falls into a bad position, that's arm wrestling. I mean, there are guys that's like John Brzezinski has lost matches. Are we going to say that John Brzezinski's not incredibly proficient everywhere?
Yep.
I think that his strap game is super duper strong. And I agree with what you said that Zurab, the little bits I've seen of him, seems that his lanes seem well suited for what Chance goes for, regardless of, you know, who's stronger, who can endure more. I think it's very interesting, and almost a piece of me thinks Chance is going to win it.
I wouldn't be surprised, mate. It's one of those things, in it. People are saying, "Oh well, you know, look at the Ron match, and his hand and wrist burned out, and his hand and wrist aren't going to be the areas that are really targeted here. It's going to be more his arm. Now, he may not have great endurance when his wrist is busted back and he's flat and he's lost everything he needs, but I'm not sure whether he'll have to deal with that in this instance. I feel like he might have a really good hand and wrist position throughout, and it's just whether or not he's got the grunt in the arm to deal with it, which he very well might not have, because Zurab's going very hard to the side. And as Ray said, the man is utterly relentless, and he's got some gas tank on him. But I don't know. I think Chance has better shot than a lot of people think. Paul, how have you got it?
I see the match as even odds. And I think a lot of people have like they swung their meter a little bit based off of Chance losing to Ron.
Yeah,
we've seen Chance beat Ron before, but I think Ron came in with a different game plan. I think I saw some interesting things in that match that almost lends favor to Chance. We saw Chance pull with his wrist back, which we almost never see. He usually has complete control and he's tight, and at that point he's sticky. We saw him go straight sideways through Ron. Now that straight side pressure gassed out as the match went on. I don't think that that's a huge deal. I don't think that that's a big negative, because I don't think we're going to see any instance where we're not going to see Chance pull with his wrist back. We're going to see Chance pull on the top. And I know when Chance is in his spot, he has immense side pressure that he doesn't get credit for. And also an extremely tight, back, break. His arm angle for a big guy stays so tight, and he's so compact in there. If he gets his shoulder in behind his top roll, I don't know if Zurab can pin through that, especially if he's completely without his hand. I think that Chance has at least a 50% chance at this match. And I think also losing to Ron is added motivation now. I know he tracked his super matches and where he's trending to. So the pressure's on now. And it really just comes down to, how well he shows up.
I'd like to add something, though. The world of the internet, in today's day and age, I hate the landscape that losing to a guy like Ron Bath or John Brzezinski hurts your credentials. What the kind of landscape are we in right now?
Yeah, I mean,
these guys all want to knock your ability because they're like, oh, he lost to Ron Bath. Last I checked, Ron Bath's resume is goddamn near John Brzezinski's. So
Yeah.
losing to that dude is absolutely shameless. Yet they all want to be like, oh, he lost his last outing to Ron. Yeah, he sucks. Where the
Right.
fuck have we come as a sport?
And took
Yeah.
2 off Ron early, comfortably. Shocked me, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know, shockingly comfortable on the first 2. It was like, what the? I actually thought Chance was going to win that match in a battle. I thought he'd get the starts. Ron would hang on to him for a long time, but Ron would probably gas, and that Chance might eke it out in a really closely contested match. Turned out it went down quite closely contested, but nothing like how I saw it. So it's an interesting one, this. It really is. We've got some super chats. One for you, Rob. Jared's just come in. He's put, hey, Rob, are you going to be at the New Englands? If so, I'm going to be there and would like to pick your brain on my style of arm wrestling. Let's go, Ray.
Yeah, man. I'll be there. You'll see the guy with the red wine in hand. You'll think it's Jaeger, but it's actually red wine. Don't fight the funk.
Juji Mugu with a super chat. He's put somewhere out there, Bowen wearing in a dark studio, poking pins into a voodoo doll with a baby bum soft skin, laughing evilly. Hey, could well happen, mate. That could be happening. And Pronatosaurus triceptus. He's put F Bowen, but Ray is getting cocky. So F Couch Ray.
You don't like that.
Right?
Ooh, I like that. I like how he said, I saw your last video where you're like, he should have been juicing. I was like, uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, mate, the banter
Bring
was...
up the J word. Uh-oh.
Are you going to be getting into the banter straight off the bat when you get over there, Ray? Are you going to keep it on the down low?
I don't know. We'll see. Like
Anything could happen.
I'm what's I trying to translate in my mind, like I haven't fallen on my mouth. That's what the saying would be, you know. So
Yeah, it could be a very interesting week. So we'll move on to the next one, and this is close to your heart, Ray. I'm going to let you go first. Lachlan Adair Sandris, the chef.
Sandris.
Easy or hard?
I think easy.
Ooh.
If it's hard, Lachlan's awesome. Even more awesome than I think. I think he's awesome. I think he's really good.
Very strong man.
I just think Sandris is way better.
Very strong man. So, Paul, how you got this?
Man, I have very little to go off of, but there's something inside me that's telling me that Lachlan is going to show up big and strong. And I could be totally wrong because I don't have anything to go off of. Ray knows more, but I'm rooting for Lachlan, and I think he's Australia's savior. I think he's the man, and I think he's the man with the highest ceiling. I think he's somebody who his trajectory is so steep that this might be a coming out party.
Very interesting. What about you, Rob?
If he wins, in my opinion, it is, and in most people from Europe, it is his coming out party.
Oh my God.
Well, in due respect, I think that Lachlan's already come out. I think that I don't think he needs to beat somebody who's like a top Zloty finisher or a world finisher to come out. I think that's putting a lot of unfair pressure on him. I think we all know that we're all talking about Lachlan on the show. I think we all know that he's great, but I'm in Ray's camp that I can't get past the fact of Sandris's physicality and capability of multiple angles. If he gets stuffed in the hook, he can shoulder roll, he can top roll, I think Lachlan has really good lanes, but I don't think that they're as vast and there are as many as Sandris. So I think Sandris, like how I give guys like Ray and Giannis and Vlad the nod from coming from a great camp. I think they have more resources, and I think he's just hyper proficient in more ways. Even if they're comparable in one lane, I saw it when Sandris was at Arm Wars. He fucked around with your buddy there and pulled him in a hook just to try it.
Yeah.
And then he said, fuck it. And then he top rolled and threw a quick shoulder roll. And it was like, the guy's, he's a serial killer. I mean, he's a top Zloty finisher. He's used to that super high level elite world talent. And, he's got a big frame. He's a big, strong motherfucker. And that's not a knock on Lachlan. If Lachlan gets blasted 3-0, Lachlan's still a bad motherfucker. He's already come out. That's why he's here. That's why he got this match.
Yeah.
But Sandris, I think, is on everywhere you could check the box, like experience, the team, the resources, the versatility. It's really hard to get past that. And with, like Ray said, if he does give him a hard match to get past it, dude, power to you. But if not, ain't no shame in losing to that dude. That dude's a fucking savage. He's super good.
I think to go back to what Paul was saying, it's sort of like not so much as that we know where Lachlan's at, and we know where he's got real strength, and it's strength. If he beats Sandris, it's something else as well. He's obviously got some incredible defense, because Sandris is so dangerous. He's got so many looks and so much speed, and that's the thing for me that would really, if Lachlan, I rate Lachlan very highly. I think he's an extremely strong lad, but I'm struggling to see how he can do that multiple times really against Sandris, who's so familiar. Like Rob was just saying there, he's so familiar with the big guns at the elite level, and consistently he finds a way to win. And that's where...
Yeah, didn't he take second place in the Open at Zloty? Was it first or second?
First.
He did a high Zloty placing, right?
He was first 105 kilo and second in overall.
So he won his class, and then he was second in the whole overall. And who won it? Was it Silev?
Prudnik.
Prudnik won it. All right. So he won his class, which is, like, to me, and a lot of people, better than winning WAF. And then he went on to pull the Open with every other badass in the fucking world.
And that was with all respect. It was terrible, Sanders, compared to where he was a year ago, and even now.
The dude's super legit. He's a big kid. He's a big dude. I mean, you can be smaller and use that compact to your advantage. I'm not a big preacher about long levers, because levers, if they're long, can be used against you. And Lachlan might turn that into that. But, if we're talking about it from a analytical standpoint, yeah, Sandris it's an uphill battle. He's a tough mountain to climb today.
In this match, who represents East and who represents West?
East.
We get all of Latvia, Paul. They get Australia. We get Latvia. Yeah.
We're up for the trade. We're up for the trade. You
guys are East.
That's playing me.
In the interest of time, guys, we may have to be, because we don't want to keep you on here all night, we may have to be a little selective going forward on some of these. So we'll pick out a couple of big points here. First of all, Krasimir Irakli. Engaging match.
Irakli.
Yeah.
Irakli.
Krasimir doesn't look tight lately.
I think Krasi might have something here.
Old school Krasi did. The Krasi I've seen the past couple of years, no. Krasi who stopped Arsen Liliev, yes. Krasi who's been pulling recently, and that's no disrespect. Krasi's a legend. But we all have those peaks and valleys. We all go through it. Fuck, I go through it. We all go through it. Yep. But I think the Krasi we've seen as of late, his last outing, I don't think he can stop this new Irakli who's not a fucking little boy anymore, right? He's on a big trajectory.
Oh my God, Irakli's got the momentum beyond belief.
He's big, man. He is big. Seeing him in real life, in person, and hearing him say that he's going up in weight, scary.
How you got it, Ray?
I got it, Irakli.
You got it right. Easy or hard?
Easy.
I think easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
I would love if Krasi would win, because I like Krasi, and I think he's
Krasi's a great guy. To be honest, they're both really nice lads.
Of course, yes.
They're both great blokes.
It's nice, like, if we could see Krasi actually pulling inside his weight class and actually, beating, then it would be way better for him, because he's like, I keep talking to him. I'm like, why are you pulling these big guys? I'm going to beat them. I'm like, you keep losing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any effing sense, man.
The Giants, I mean, we have that running gag. He's just not big enough.
Everyone. And then, because he was, at one point, he slayed everyone, pretty much. Yeah. Then he was like, okay, I'm going to go.
Krasi was bigger and more physical then, though. Krasi had a thicker way about him. He was bigger. Back in those days, like I said, when he was pulling Arsen and sweeping up WAF and stuff, he had a little bit different physicality. Georgia right now is birthed over a fucking nuclear waste site, and all those guys are doing a little something different. doing a little something different that you all could talk about the training and the camp, but there's something going on in Georgia that's a little bit different. Just saying. They're all good.
Got an enormous amount of momentum at the moment, Irakli. Super, super solid matchup that should be. I would love to see Krasimir get to the strap early and be able to make that into a grinder right off the bat, because then we'd see where Irakli's game has come from a defensive perspective. We know that obviously recent experience against Sasho, he didn't do too well when he was put on the back foot. Now, I know he's got a lot bigger since then. He's got a lot more solid since then. Very different individual. We're going to see how much. And if he runs through Krasimir with the strap, I will be so impressed. Because Krasi in the strap is, in my opinion, much better arm wrestler if he can find the strap. Much better.
And,
so we'll see.
They're going to be both in the strap. Most likely, they both going to ask for a strap.
You'd think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think, it's not a lot nearer in terms of the sort of feel of the match for Krasimir. Not as many problems with the hand. He's used to that style of arm wrestling. Most people have attacked Krasi there for years. Very interesting. One of the matches I'm looking forward to most. And moving on to the next one. What about Dave Chafee, Artem Morozov? That could tell a lot of stories right there. I mean, how have you got that, Rob?
Chafee.
Easy or hard?
I think when it's easy to judge Dave because people find that little bit of a chink. You know, even Achilles had a heel. Mm-hmm. And I think when people fall into his lane, only then do they realize how strong that motherfucker is. And if they hit that lane, like even Levon, as strong as he is, he did like a kind of controlled outside move, and Dave looked like he was getting ready for a fucking photo shoot. He didn't look like Big Dave. I think if somebody dares, if you remember back in Zloty when Pushkar hit Dave's lane and Dave ran his shit sideways, I think if somebody steps to a comfortable spot for Dave and Dave's not trying to get skinny and do whatever Dave was doing, and he's the Dave that we knew from like 2009, 10, 11, whatever. I like Dave in that match. I mean, I think just because the guy loses, everybody wants to discount him. It doesn't mean that anyone else is going to beat him.
Well, his last. If you get wins over people like Alex at any point, I know you can say, "Oh, Alex won at his best," or people always will find a way to sort of justify that, and there may be something in that, but you cannot discount the top end strength of somebody like Chafee. He really is unbelievably powerful guy, and for me. This, in a similar way to what we're talking about with Lachlan, if Morozov runs him over or Morozov does well with Dave, he's leveled up, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh.
How have you got it, Paul?
I'm along the same lines of what Rob's saying. I think it's Dave's match to lose, and I don't know what the polls look like, but I would think the polls are saying that. But I will also say that Artem is like. If you've never like been in his presence, that guy is different. Like he's huge, and he's getting bigger. And I think I saw Engen's podcast. He said something. He was like, I think when we were over there, he was like 275, and now he's like 290. So and he's lean. He's like sub 10% body fat. He's a weirdo. But it's hard to gauge where he's at off of the Derek match. We're going to get our real gauge on this one, but I have Dave as a favorite. I just think he's a tough nut to crack, and that side pressure is just different. So I got Dave 3-1. Maybe Artem can sneak one out, get outside of his hand. I don't know, but probably 3-1, 3-0.
Ray?
Dave, Terminator is getting bigger, and he has been sent from the future to defeat everyone at arm wrestling. I just don't think this time. However, I look at every match that Dave has with anyone, I was like, you still have to beat Dave. You still have to beat Dave. He's that ridiculously strong. He has lost you can count on one arm pretty much, And
he's awkward.
And he's awkward. And
really awkward. He's not an orthodox arm wrestler in many
no,
ways.
he's weird, and he will hit it so strong. I think the thing that like Morozov kind of likes hand control. His right isn't his best arm. He lost to Prudnik, and then he won Derek. And just based on that, I think like you can add a lot of muscle, you can add some power, but Dave is like, that peak level, that mythical power we always talk about. He's that strong. So if he can make this match long, if he can stop Dave at any position or anywhere where he has some kind of control, and most likely the best way to stop Dave would be to a top roll, even if you lose the hand, if you can stop him and get him back a little bit, you have chances. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, just not ready yet for that level of unorthodox and top end. So we got Zainab Odin with a super chat. 2-0, Australia defeats that tiny country that nobody has heard of.
Oh,
Ray,
my.
you're the new delusional champ. Enjoy.
First of all, you know this country. At least one person knows about this small country. Second, clearly you are delusional. And thank you for your money.
I'm assuming he is actually Odin is an Australian.
Almost.
From that. So let's move on to the next one. And while we're talking about weirdos and guys that have done a great deal in the sport, let's talk about these next two because both fall into that category. Todd Hutchins, arguably pound for pound in terms of top end, the man. And he's facing what I believe is arguably pound for pound the best in the world in Yevgeny Prudnik. Can it be done? Is the rise of Toddzilla set to continue? Or does he get derailed? Have you got it, Paul Lynn?
I am rooting for Todd so hard. I think he can. I think that if Todd gets a stop, if Todd can get the strap and get a stop, I think that there's a lane. I think that he can out-endure Prudnik. I think there's a possibility, but the cards are stacked against him for sure because of Prudnik's durability or his versatility as a whole. So I'm rooting for Todd, but I would think Prudnik is the favorite, but I would not at all be surprised if Todd squeezes this one out because I know this is an important one for Todd. And I don't know if Prudnik in East versus West 4, I don't think that was the best version of kind of self-admittedly. Now he looks a little bit better now physically. We saw some stuff, videos, and his physical appearance looks better. But we'll see. I mean, I do think that he has to be in really, really good form, top form, to be able to beat Todd. And we know Todd's going to come in his best form for this.
Oh my God, without a shadow of a doubt. Ray, how do you see it?
I see Prudnik wins by top roll. I would love to see a hook match. I maybe need to scream it out, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I think there's a lot of things on stake. I think there's more money for this match than it was before. Prudnik is not in the best situation. So I think he really, not only he wants to win, not only he wants to get these opportunities, he wants to dominate and he wants to show who he is. And he has the weapons and he's very fast, explosive, versatile. He has great endurance. Like he's at one point, like he's really terrible matchup for Todd Hutchins. He would have one style that would be very easy to deal with, but he's not only like he will not hit top roll like Irakli hit the top roll. He will not hit it back. He will just go. He's smart. So I'm giving but I would love to see a war. I would really love to see a war. I would love if Todd stops him, slips out in any position, get the strap, and then we see a really freakish war. But I think Prudnik is the favorite in this match.
Does he beat him in a hook, Ray? If it stops in a hook, can he beat Prudnik in a straight up hook match?
Let's hope Prudnik is watching this. I don't think you can beat Todd in a hook. I think you can only top roll him. I don't think you have enough hook for him.
We'll see. You never know. He could be watching between shows at the opera.
He'll send me a message like, I'll show you.
Rob Vigent Jr., a lot of experience with a certain Todd Hutchins, mate. Is he the strongest man in the world pound for pound right now, do you think? If this goes in a hook, does he win?
First off, I hate that only like certain lanes of pulling are seen as strength. All lanes of arm wrestling are keeping somebody out of a lane or forcing your lane. They're all strength. If I take your hand back and all your strength says you don't want me to, well, that's a lane of strength in itself now, isn't it? I don't like the donkeys who sit there and say that only going like this is strength. That's the cat call of a weak man in other areas. Now, do I think that it can
predominantly
be
a top roller, Rob? I love it when you keep saying things like that.
I have no problem. I have no problem pulling anywhere, but I don't like when guys with inadequacies try to bait you into pulling where they're proficient by calling it the weaker man. So, with that being said, do I think that Prudnick should beat him in a hook? Yes. If it goes actual hook, I think Todd's good at pulling in certain lanes of a hook when he gets that wedge and uses the geometry. I think that Prudnick is flat out stronger, much like Rustum treated him. I think this is a tough match for Todd, personally. And I think that if we're talking just hook on hook, bicep on bicep, arm on arm, just like Rustum, yeah, Prudnick.
Cobra Rolls, welcome back to the show, mate. We are talking Toddzilla, Todd Hutchins, Evgeny Prudnick. Who we got?
Super exciting match. I cannot imagine Prudnick early testing his inside power. I can imagine him running away and trying to shoulder press. Take a lot of courage to come in there with your shoulder against Todd, but Prudnick has a long enough lever, I believe, to find an angle. If he doesn't, and it ends in the straps, we're in for what Neil Pickup would call a death war.
God, I love that. I would absolutely love to see these guys go balls out at it. That would be.
Yeah, and I do see a slip coming here at some point, first or second round, unless Prudnick completely dominates with a top roll that he can finish with a little shoulder support. But if they end up in the
what score are you going?
I'm going.
$100. What score?
Is there a silver bullet available in this match?
No, I don't believe there is.
It's best of 5, so max is 3-2.
Okay, race to 3. Toddzilla 3-2.
Ray, what
Toddzilla 3-2. Only because there'll be no turning. Is there turning back after straps, or after you're in the straps, you're in them forever?
For the end of the round.
Yeah. That favors Toddzilla. Boy, I wonder what the odds are on that shit. Then that definitely favors Toddzilla. Unless Prudnick is that violent. How big is he?
Where is his weight right now, Ray? Prudnick. 110, 115?
115.
He's got to be at least 240.
It will be 107 kilo weight limit for both of them.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the most confident Prudnicks we've seen.
I would expect Prudnick to just try and light him up. Game over.
He wants to make a statement. The last time they pulled, he did it. I think it's the only time they pulled. Correct me if I'm wrong. They pulled what? Was it at the Moldova or A1 or some shit?
Yeah, but that Moldova show, we can't count that. That was just Sin City for arm wrestling.
Well, can't we do that with all? Did any one of my motherfucking losses? I want to scratch that from the record.
Yeah, but hey, RBJ, any of your losses don't count, bro. From here on out.
I love this. This is great. Let's just chalk that from the record. Scratch that shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right.
But you know what?
I like that.
You locked up, Cobra.
Hey, this is good. We're gonna put my wins down on for the record. The losses, we're gonna scratch that shit. Get the white
undefeated.
out. Undefeated. Nice. I like this shit.
Let's move swiftly on to our next. Oh, we got a super chat just come in. Just bear with me a second. Joe Fox, great puller from Canada. Joe, thanks for your super chat, mates. But hello, guys. Good luck to Ray. I think it will be a grinder versus Boeing. When is RVJ versus Lynn going to happen in Arm Wars?
Oof.
Neil, I love the show. When I get a chance to catch it between work and everything else. Joel, thank you for your super chat, mate. Appreciate you tuning in and checking it out. So let's move on with the card to one of my friggin'. I can't wait for this match. As everybody knows, I tried to pull this together. It was set for the World Arm Wrestling League. It's Massachusetts' own Jerry Carteret making his debut in East versus West.
Fucking Northeast.
The Gingerbread Man in the house. And he's facing One of the most entertaining, charismatic super heavyweights of all time, in my opinion. Gennady Quickvinia of Georgia. What a match. What a match. I can't wait. I've got a semi on. Amazing. Who have you got, Paulie?
Man, this one is Gennady is trending so hard, and he's so energetic. He's got the heart of a lion, but I just
he
can't
looks
imagine.
like God.
Yeah,
You know, anybody that looks that biblical.
but I just don't think that anywhere in this world, other than someone training with Jerry, do they have access to train against someone like Jerry, which he's the ultimate wild card. Everybody talks about the King's move and everything else, and Gennady figured that out. Well, now you get to figure out the other ace in the hole. So I'm rooting for Jerry, and I think he's going to shake it up for sure.
Ray Lipin, counterpoint. Here we go.
I love how Paul said, like, he's Gennady's collecting all the techniques, you know, to have the antidote for Levon, pretty much. I don't know where Jerry is. I really want to see he looks ridiculously big. He looks really
Shape.
He looks great.
Super jacked.
He always looks
shape,
ridiculously big.
Yeah. He's 330 all day, every day.
He looks in really good shape, though.
Yeah, he looks in great shape.
Yeah, best I've seen him look for a long time, mate.
I hope we see something, but I have to pick Gennady as huge favorite. But he's way more active. I don't know what Jerry is, and I think he can deal with those styles. So
we're gonna learn. I can't wait.
Oh, mate, what a match. Rob.
Yeah, man. Yep. I think that Jerry's got a way of throwing somebody in. They think they know what he's going to do until he does it, and then they find themselves punching their one-way ticket to fuck city.
And oh shit land.
They don't realize that guy is probably one of the fastest super heavyweights ever, right? Yeah. And he's got a spot that people think that they know what to deal with. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a quick story. When I'm friends with Jerry and Matt Mask, I like them both equally. So when we talked about the match when Matt Mask pulled Jerry, I says, Matt, what's your plan? Just talking to him backstage. He goes, well, I'm going to do this and that. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, sit down, son. I'll show you how it's done. Fast forward, Buddy Boy almost got his shit broken. Everyone thinks they know until they feel that level of 600 bench press coming across the table, committed, fast, hard, and weird. The guy's beat John Brzezinski. He beat peak Travis Bajan. He's beat everybody. And do I think Gennady's going to be the one to give him something different? I think he's felt what Gennady's bringing. I don't think Gennady's felt what he's bringing. Never has there been a presser better than Jerry Cadorette in the sport. Bam. Deal with everything.
Drop the mic.
There's no doubt about that. In terms of the best super heavyweight presser of all time.
Stop. Yeah. The best presser of all time is Jerry Cadorette.
Yeah, the Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah. Let's not make it too weird, but I'm just saying he's the best presser.
Mate, Jerry Cadorette somewhere in the world right now is watching that and going.
Well, here's the thing is, Jerry Cadorette's got about 5,000 guys he can reference that pull with Gennady's abilities and just maybe talk up the strength and the whatnot a little bit. He doesn't have anybody that's bringing what Jerry's bringing. They're all he's a fucking weirdo. He has something that's not supposed to be good at all. He finds himself in a position that's supposed to be like you're doomed if you fall into his position, and he makes it a winning lane. He's like the guy who brought jiu-jitsu out and he wins from his back.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a freak move. I mean, is it even a move? You know?
But 25, 30 years of doing it, his elbow is so stiff. And that dude pulled with Michael Todd for 7-8 minutes. I thought he was going to die. That guy, he won't quit. He won't quit.
No, if you want endurance, I mean, you only have to reference his matches with John Brzezinski, with Michael Todd. Unbelievable endurance. Absolutely unbelievable endurance.
Do it. And he's big and strong and sexy in that Corvette now. And his tan. Fuck, man.
So, Rhodes, what you got?
My prediction for this match is shrapnel.
Boom.
I mean,
That's all.
I hope, right, is that Jerry gets that stop at some point. Because if he does,
he will.
it will be the match that I saw in my mind when I wanted
They're
these
going
guys
in the
together in the
straps as
WL.
well.
Almost nobody flashes that guy. Almost, it never happens.
Very few. Not numerous times.
Not since the 90s.
Yeah. To flash him numerous times would be remarkable. So there is a high probability that this turns into a great match. I must admit, if you were picking, okay, which match on this card you think is going to be probably match of the card, I would say it's going to be, there's 3 matches that I hope are amazing. Biased as hell on the first one with Bowen and Ray, because I just want that to be the best match of all time. I really think that Bojidar and Samusha will be ridiculous.
Right.
I just can't wait for that match. I think that's going to be, that's one of the matches I'm most excited about. The potential of a screamer. I think it could be amazing. And the other one is this, Jerry and Gennady. If this stops in round 1, if this stops in the center, holy shit, fasten up your chin straps.
But you know what happens to people's souls? You know what happens to people's souls when they get Jerry here and then he pounds through it? Even a guy as crazy and as cock strong as Gennady will crumble. He gets him all the way to here and he gets pushed through at some point because he knows he can't do it again. You can't hang on your brachialis that long while Jerry can hang on his elbow for a half hour straight.
Oh, without doubt. In terms of the
destroyed.
Yeah, the long match would favor Jerry, you would imagine, because of the fact that he's using so much joint in there.
Yeah, he's a joint puller. But his joint is like Crazy George or those other guys. He'll hang on to it. And then when he gets about here, he turns into Eric Spoto, where he throws on that 500-pound bench and that tricep that's like 24 inches. It's real, man. A lot of people like to hate on New England, but that motherfucker's real.
Don't hate on
him. It's incredible. Juji Mugu with the super chat. Jerry moves the cars around in his lot with his arm. K Rob with the super chat. Thanks, mates. But Neil, been a fan for years and defender lately of yours, and just wanted to say thanks and contribute to your work. Appreciate all your hard work. Thanks to you and the Fix Boys from Canada. K Rob, thanks, mate. Really appreciate your super chat. Appreciate you checking out the show. Got a majorly exciting card coming up on the East versus West next week. It's going to be stupid and cannot wait to see it. Let's move on with our, Gabriela Vasconcelos, Eglovette Kute. My God. Ultimate ladies match for top end strength on planet Earth, period, right now. End of. Ray Lipinge, who you got?
I think it's tough for Gabby. It's tough for Gabby. People don't know who Egla is because she hasn't been that active. She hasn't been that motivated. But when she trains, she's a different kind of animal. If Gabby wins this match, it's really big for Gabby. Gabby has improved. But Egla is coming in. Usually she doesn't train. She goes to Europeans, Worlds, slays everyone. You know, pretty much do as she wants. And,
she's huge.
And she's huge. She's big.
Structurally massive.
Structurally massive, yeah. Super strong hands, super good hand control. If we would look at like,
do you want a hot dog?
Her, Irina Makeyeva, Barbora, those would be like the Levans of female arm wrestling. And Gabby is the John Berzeng type, a little bit, you know. So if she pulls it off,
come on, Colin.
but they didn't get favorite, and Gabby is coming in as an underdog with both arms. If she wins, I think that's awesome.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, Vision, how you got it?
Yeah, put it sucker.
From what I've seen, I agree exactly with Ray. I mean, the 2 girls I saw that my time of being a student of arm wrestling that really, really stood out were Irina Makeva and Egla. And I mean, of course, Gabby's done incredible things, but the longevity, like almost every single women's tournament I've ever seen that's been the tournament to win, it's Egla and Irina Makeva. And Gabby might be coming into her own, but from what I've seen, man, like that girl's just looks on another level. And she hasn't, if she's fallen off, maybe it's because she got bored. I don't know. She just looks so different. And Gabby looks unbelievable, but so does that girl. So
I mean,
I'm not going to Ray
Egla's
fans.
undefeated against Gabby in competition. She's never lost to Gabby. So she's got to come in on paper as a heavy favourite. As Ray was saying, the only thing that could lead you to believe that there's a different outcome on this occasion is levels of activity. Because we haven't seen Egla as active. But Egla, when she's focused, when she's prepped, she's such an enormous girl, just structurally a big girl. She's got so many opportunities to just put you in a terrible position, you know. And Gabby's not that big a girl. When you meet Gab, she's not that big a girl. She's got a lot of muscle packed onto that frame, and she's unbelievably powerful. But it's getting rubber on the road that concerns me here. Whether she can get that rubber on the road with someone as big and as dominant physically as Egla is. Paul, how do you see this?
I don't know enough, to be honest, you know, as far as women's arm wrestling goes and my longevity in the sport. You guys seem to know a little bit more about Egla. I know how big she is. But yeah, I kind of see it similarly, especially after hearing everybody talk. But I'll root for Gabby for sure, especially if she's the dog, you know, and I like her. I think she's cool as a person.
Unbelievably cool,
root for sure. But it sounds like the odds are not stacked in her favor.
No, and that's incredible to say, because Gabby is like super ridiculous incredible. And if we're talking about a person that's ahead of her, like, who is this weirdo? You know, and it's just social media, right? If you're not known on social media, you're not known. But I've been watching these worlds and Europeans and everything since internet allowed me to. And the person I've seen for a very long time was like Irina Makieva and Egla. Like, that's like the two of them just mopped everything. As long as
Irina Makieva is she's the best female arm wrestler of all time, in my opinion. What the sort of watchword, I suppose, on this one would be that obviously Gabby is bigger than we've ever seen her. She's super active. She's incredibly motivated. We know she's not lacking power. Top end power. She's extremely competitive with probably anyone. But it's just whether she can get to that lane that concerns me. It's going to be really interesting. As I say, I haven't seen enough of Egla at that kind of level recently to know exactly where she's at right now. But you've got to imagine that she's coming in mega shape. I know I can't remember whose chat I was in the other day, and I think it was Engins actually, and Terasatis was in there, and he said, Egla's ready, she's coming in strong, should be great. So if that is the case, then for me, she starts as the favourite for sure. But hopefully we see that both girls get to their absolute spot and see what happens there. Now, obviously conscious of time, we have a couple more matches to get over. Bozhidar Simeonov, David Samushia. Underrated match on this card for me. Not been talked about a great deal. I'm not sure whether people just don't know the level of this match. I'm not sure whether it's just because the guys aren't popular, famous, internet famous. But holy hell, what a match this could be. I mean, when these guys have met before in their weight class at the WAF, it's been a phenomenal death war. And here we've got it over multiple rounds. I cannot wait for this. It should be unbelievable. Ray, how do you see it, mate?
I think Borgi is a favorite in this one. He's been way more active. He always pulls long matches. He has improved tremendously. They're meeting at 85, so Borgi's, I don't know how much he may, you know, he's usually walking around the same weight there, maybe 82 or something. So I don't know. I'm picking Borgi as a favorite. I don't know by how much, and I don't know because we just saw David and Paul in, which was a great match, which was a close match. David can pull, and he's coming off like a big layoff as well. So Borgi should, I think he's the favorite, you know, especially at that weight. But I expect this to be maybe the best match on the card.
It should be stupid, shouldn't it? This is one that I had down as a potential 20-minute. Tuck yourself in, get a beer, sit down and watch this shit. This is the one, isn't it? I mean, so much power, so much top end, and these guys are going to go exactly where you would expect. They're going to just run into each other headlong. So I just can't wait. Paul, what do you say?
Is the weight 85 or 90?
I think it's 85. I think it's 85. They're not 90. Not 90.
Okay. Well, David is he definitely spoke quite a bit about not having enough training behind the match with me that he only had been training for like 3-4 months or something, just coming back from his layoff and everything. And he's big. Like that's the other thing. Like he's a larger human being right now than Bojidar. So he's going to cut to 85, which I know he's familiar with cutting. And I have to imagine that on the day of arm wrestling, he's going to be significantly bigger than Bojidar. And I know he's training. I've been looking at his socials and everything. I've never pulled Bojidar, but I've followed him quite a bit. David is really, really strong, really, really strong. And I think he's going to be really, really big. And I think he's going to be like do or die trained up. I have him as a favorite. I think that he wins it. And I think that he might win it decisively.
Decisively, wow.
Hey, did you guys, I'm sorry, did you see the comment from Ryan? Ryan just posted, and I just looked back, and we have a chat for East versus West. Gabi is coming in 95 kilos.
Who is?
Gabriella.
Oh, super chat. Yeah, from super chat from Ryan. Hey, gents.
I just checked.
95.
He's like,
holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's how much I weigh.
Egla
is that for real?
Egla 84.
Ooh.
I mean, number one, I'm surprised if Egla's 84.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
She's
everybody's a different weight when they say what their weight is and then they actually weigh it.
If Egla's only 84, I'm surprised. Because Egla is a big girl. I mean, she's not carrying excess weight, but her forearm's like 30 kilos.
Well,
she's got big. She has some scary hands.
Way more different. Gabi is chasing that Levant status. It looks like that.
95 kilos for Gabi. That's remarkable. According to the stats they gave Engin, well, I'll tell you what, that's a powerful. And in answer to Ryan's question, have there ever been that size gap between them? No. No is the answer to that question. You know, and I'm not sure I actually believe those stats. I'd need to see the scales.
Oh shit! Hey guys, I'm really sorry. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
I gotta go to sleep. Thank you all for tuning in. Tune in next Saturday for East versus West 4. I'll see you in Turkey. Much love. Stay strong and love everything.
Safe journey, mate. Safe journey, and give it your best. Should
Good
be
luck,
a great
buddy.
match. Hope you and Ryan make a banger out there. Now then, let's move on and finish this show. We got a couple of matches still to discuss, which we got to touch on. And I know we're missing a couple of amazing matches. We're missing, obviously, we've missed. Let's have a look. Cody Merritt and Morozov left hand, which potentially could be a great match. Two super strong lads there. Who have you got on that one, Rob? Quickly.
If I was going off my gut, I would say Morozov. I think he trains with higher level people, higher level competition. No knock on somebody, just based on what I've seen. I think when you swim with big fish, you're used to that environment, and it's difficult to make up that curve. And I think that from what I've seen and what I'm thinking, my gut says Morozov.
Now, Paul Lynn, who've you got in Oleg Zhok and David Dakikian, left hand? Dakikian's got a lot of recent uploads on the internet. And obviously, we've seen Dakikian with Siplenkov recently training. Yeah. With a little bit on there. Anything you've seen
not
there?
That same Siplenkov, though. That Siplenkov's not even a shadow of his old self.
Yeah, I got Oleg. I think he's had some time to recover now. He's getting his feet under him. He's the best left hand on the planet when he's in good form.
He's amazing. Pound for pound, he's the man in it. There's no doubt about that.
I got Cody too, by the way. I got Cody in the previous match. You don't have to go into
Cody in there. That's a good match. Morozov and Cody, because Cody Merritt is an animal on that left hand. Huge guy, very difficult to deal with. Yeah, two more solid matches there. I think that's all the other matches we've got, with one obvious exception.
According to Bob and those guys out in Utah, this is like the best version of Cody both arms. He's smoking people right on. Like he came back hell on wheels off that broken arm. He's motivated. Wow. He's a nice dude. He trains in silence, but don't be surprised.
Looking forward to that one, guys. Now,
I think that's going to be a real good one too. I think that's a highlighted one for me in this card.
really,
Yes.
I had it as quick finish either way. I must admit, I saw that as one of those. For me, Cody, if he gets, I mean, obviously we've seen him in some battles. Obviously, that's the way I ended up with broken arm. But I saw Cody and Artem as being, if either one gets the position, I think they're strong enough to finish the other one. And I think Morozov being as explosive as he is, Cody not being slow out of the gates, I think it could be quite convincing either way. You know, the pins, and it could finish, you know, both guys get pins on the board. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But I wouldn't expect them to be long grinding matches.
I think
if
Cody wins fast, we'll see if we see Cody get to a spot, we can see fast wins. I think if Morozov gets to a spot, I think Cody's a warrior. I think the dude is like, he'll fight. If he loses his hand, if he gets a stop, we're gonna see something good.
Can't wait. Exciting match. But one more we haven't talked about before we shut tonight's show down. You knew it was coming. It's the GOAT, the perfect storm. John Brzenk. Kurigale Ongabayev is the opponent in this instance. Guy who's as proficient with that top roll, particularly out of a defensive situation, as most people in the game. And this is a very different type of test for John, I think, in many ways. Could be a real grinder. How have you got this one, Rob?
Okay, I don't think that anybody, I think that by default, from what I've seen, Ongarbayev will kind of like low hand top roll. He kind of pulls from down here. And I don't think that anyone on earth is going to beat John Brzenk with a low hand top roll if they give him top hand. Because he's smart enough that when they go low, he's going to have top hand over you. And if you give that man control over you, I don't think they're going to beat him. Even if they're equal in strengths, equal in other things, you're not going to beat John by being a smarter, better arm wrestler than him, because he is a smart, amazing arm wrestler. You got to beat him by being better than him. And I don't think that he's going to be better than him. And if you're going to give him, I think with John's hand size and hand strength, Ongarbayev will end up pulling this way, and John's hand will be over his.
Yeah.
And if you're going to give John a top hand, I don't think that he can beat John that way. I don't think anyone could beat John underneath.
Paul, how do you see it, mate?
I mean, I think that this is John's biggest test. I think we could have said that about his previous match with Corey. He took John to the absolute red line max. I mean, I don't know if did John pin him at all? Like, there was fouls, there was all kinds of stuff. It's arguable to say that's the toughest possible match that John could see. But I think stylistically, what we've seen out of John, we've seen him get tested by top rollers. When you talk about Dmitry Ketchin, obviously that was early on his comeback tour and everything. He had to pull very unorthodox against Dmitry. Ongarbayev is probably levels above Dmitry. So I think it stands to be a really, really interesting match. If Rob's right and he can get on top, I think maybe it's not going to be interesting. But if John has to pull with his wrist back, it's going to get real, real interesting for sure. Stylistically, I think John has way more arm, but the access to it.
I'm very interested to see if Kurigale can make him hang on to him, because as John gets stronger, and which he obviously has, there's always that niggle in the back of your mind that you want to bully a guy. You know, you want to impose yourself in the match. And Kurigale Ongarbayev's one of those guys that is a very, very tricky guy, and he'll make you pursue him. In some ways, similar to Irakli, has a similar, very strong set of cards in that environment. And I'm interested to see if John's that type of guy who will try and test himself. You know what I mean? He will try and meet you in a position where you are strong. And if that happens, Ongarbayev's got so much integrity in the shoulder, and he's a younger guy. I wonder whether it just leans towards him a little bit from an endurance perspective in the middle rounds. It'd be interesting, this one. I'm very, very keen to see where John's at. Will John just try and top roll with him? Will John try and hang on to him or try and force the hook? I don't know.
I think his days of hanging on to people, I've seen the way John's hand cracks a little bit in the straps is something you never saw 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I
You
agree.
didn't see his hand crack. His hand went flat in every single super match he's had. John was known for his hand and wrist. Of course, he's got strong fundamentals everywhere, but he was really known for his hand and wrist. And you didn't see his hand go flat. And his hand went flat in almost every match. Dimitri is a 200-pound guy that, while he might be great, he's a guy that's not making waves in the worldwide scene. And his hand was flattened like this every round. You would never see that with John 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So I think John is even aware of what he can and can't do. And he's not going to be trying to snatch dudes up out of the straps. I think he's adapted his battle plan to know what he's supposed to do, I think.
Very, very interesting match
The
indeed.
big factor, too, is where is Angarbayev? Because I know he had that outing, I think, in Europeans or something where he didn't look so well. He's coming off that shoulder surgery. I think that's a big X factor as well. So it's really going to be a gauge of where he's at. I think that like a peak Angarbayev is probably the favorite, like the one we saw in top 8, but I don't even know where he stands right now. But everybody gets up and gets in their best form against John.
Hey, if you pull long enough, the big story is who's where and where do they meet? Because nobody's ever rides like this all the time.
Nobody's 100%.
Long enough, you go up and down. Vovoda, pull him now and see if you compare him to Vovoda in 2004. Dennis Plenkov, let's pull him now and compare him to 2010. We all go like this. And the name of the game is, if you pull long enough, you can't be up here all day, every day.
Well,
Nobody's 100%. Nobody's 100%. Just try and get to like 95.
So, guys, we've been on here nearly 2 hours. We're going to let the guys get on with their day and shut this one down. But I want to say thanks to everybody who took the time to tune into the show. Around 400 of you all evening in the chat. Really appreciate it, guys. I want to say a massive thank you to Paul Lynn and to Rob Bidget Jr. for taking the time out of their day to give us their insight and commentary into what promises to be a really fascinating card. It's East versus West, Istanbul, Turkey. You can see it next week, guys. Remember, Core Sports. Get over there, get the pay-per-view. Should be an absolutely incredible card. We've talked about the matches tonight. It is littered with heavy hitters, top-end talent. And the thing starts with the boys from the Fix. Rolly Ray Lipinge and Ryan Bowen will kick off the show. We hope it delivers on the promise. Guys, if this is your first time here on Supernatural Strength, please like, share, and subscribe. Get over to the Arm Wars channel and check out the films there. And until we see you next time here on the Fix, take it easy, peeps.